and welcome to this Sunday live stream. Today we have quite an interesting topic, and I saw that many people show interest in Russia, in Russian people, culture, their behaviors, and still Russia seems a bit mysterious country and not that well known as some other more traveled countries. So we're going to discover Russia and you will learn more about our country and culture. Meanwhile, let me know in the comments where you are at now, which city you are watching this stream from. Right now, I'm actually at Grozny city of Russia, which is located in Chechnya Republic. And this region actually is considered one of the most dangerous regions of Russia. And some governments even advise their citizens not to come to this region, especially solo women travelers. But here I am and making a stream here. Wow, so many countries we have here: Pakistan, Croatia, Iran, Taipei, Argentina. So cool. Well, hello from Chechnya, from Grozny. Actually, I'm making a video from Chechnya to talk about this region of Russia, their culture, and to see if all that propaganda about this region being dangerous is true or not. So you're gonna see my video soon as well. But today's topic is actually communicating with Russians and dating culture in Russia. I'm gonna have this stream along with Alena. She is a teacher of our Russian speaking club. But she's gonna join us later for the dating culture part and the vocabulary part. So, what's the plan for today's stream? At first, we're gonna talk about stereotypes about Russians, because there are so many myths that are not true about Russians. Some of them might not be myths. So we're going to discuss which stereotypes are true and which ones are not. Probably you also know many stereotypes, probably propaganda about Russia. Then we're going to discuss dating culture in Russia because that's just an interesting topic to discuss. We're going to discuss meeting Russian girls, Russian guys, and then the vocabulary for making friends in Russia and also for dating, just because that's an interesting vocabulary to remember, right? And probably you're going to need it one day. So let's start. Now you can write in the comments the stereotypes that you know about Russia, and we're going to discuss them as well. But meanwhile, the first stereotype that you might heard is Russians never smile. And this picture is actually so interesting, so funny, because you can find a Russian by the way that he smiles. Yep, that's a Russian smile. So, this stereotype is actually half true, because Russians almost never smile to strangers. In Russia, it's considered weird to smile to a stranger. And if you smile to someone that you don't know, they're gonna think that you're suspicious or that you want something from them, and they're gonna be confused. And in Russian language, we actually have these two sayings. You can read them on the left of the slide. I'm not sure that everyone here can read Russian, but the first one actually translates to English as laughing without a reason means that you're a fool. Or the second one, smiling without a reason is a symbol of being foolish. So we even have these sayings, and actually if you're a child and you laugh or smile without any reason, our parents would usually always say these idioms, these sayings like "смех без причины, признак дурачины," and so we even hear that from our parents or from friends since our childhood. So we think that if there is no reason to laugh or to smile, then it's weird. But of course, well, whereas Russians don't smile to strangers, they're very friendly with their friends. And Russians actually can't stand smiling for the sake of a smile only, because we think that the smile must be very sincere, and you should only smile to a person if you're feeling really nice, really good about him. That's why there is such saying that Russians never smile. So when you come to Russia and you see that people here don't look that friendly as you might expect, don't think that they're hostile to you or that they don't like you. It's just a normal Russian face, like this man in the middle uh, of a man who doesn't smile when he doesn't have a reason for that. But believe me, when there is a reason and when there is some connection between people, when you're friends, when you're talking, of course, this myth about Russians never smiling isn't true. Okay, next. The next saying is that Russians are cruel and unwelcoming. And this is actually partly true because yes, you can still get yelled at the shopping mall, at the shop, at the restaurant, some institutions when you're filling out some documents, for example. I would say that people who work in services, they don't understand that they have to be friendly, that they have to be very nice to the customers. So, unfortunately, in Russia, you can be yelled at, or some people in the services can be kind of rude to you. But for Russians, it's like a habit to be in this kind of mood of being grumpy in a daily life, really, which really doesn't feel like nice because some people yelling or just answering very abruptly and not being nice, that can feel really bad. But actually, in the latest years, I think that this situation in the services is becoming better. And again, this comes actually from the first um stereotype that we talked about Russians never smiling, that Russians very like they only want the sincerity. They hate being insincere. So for them, it's rather to be sincere and impolite than vice versa. So that's actually a huge problem in Russia, I think, of Russian people being in this kind of grumpy mood and saying some not nice things, and always kind of being sincere, always showing their like true mood, never acting, never pretending to be more gentile and more polite, but that's the way it is. So Russians Russia is about sincerity. And this picture, you can see the typical saleswoman in the Russian store, and they can sometimes be not very nice. So I'm gonna read some comments of yours now to see What do you think? Oh my gosh, so many comments. I can't even read all of them. People are saying that they would be afraid to meet such women in a shop. Yes, sometimes they can be so aggressive, guys. But again, don't be afraid to come to Russia. Some people are like that. Of course, they're not gonna beat you or yell at you, but just you should know that sometimes they cannot seem that friendly, but the thing is that they just don't want to be insincere, and they're always showing their real mood. So that's how actually you can understand the behaviors of Russian people. And Russians actually say, I don't want to offend anyone here, it's just the difference in the culture. Russians say that Americans are being fake because they're always smiling, they're always nice to everyone, and Russians say that it's impossible, why are they so fake? Well, it's up to you to decide what's better, being sincere and not very friendly sometimes, or um, being a bit insincere sometimes, but being nice to everyone, to smile to everyone. So that was the second thing. And actually, yes, I wanted to add, when you are a guest in a Russian family, forget all about this unfriendliness and Russians being unwelcoming, because when you are a guest and if you make a Russian friend, then you're gonna be like best friends. And if they invite you to their house, they're gonna be so hospitable. They're gonna make a huge table of different dishes, like you see in the pictures. And even if they call you only for tea, they're also gonna make many desserts, etc. And you're gonna talk. So when you're a guest in a Russian house, you're gonna eat a lot and try not to refuse that, because Russians really want to share this food with their guest, and to make him feel at home, and to feed him all this delicious food, and to spend time probably in a family circle. The third stereotype, or not a stereotype, is that Russians don't know what privacy is. And this is, unfortunately, is also half true. So, when you are in a line, for example, in Europe or in the US, people usually keep distance of several meters, right? Whereas in Russia, very few people understand this personal space notion, and they tend to stand very close to each other, like they don't keep this distance, and they just want to push forward in a line. So the person behind you is going to be standing like this to you and breathing to your back of the head. You're going to feel his breath. And that's how it is in Russia. And even during COVID time, people don't know what uh, social distance is. And this is not only about the social distance, but also about the habits. Like, if you're a friend with a Russian, he can come to your house, open the fridge, take something, and like really feel like at home. But we're used our guests to make them feel like at home. And also, we can call our friends like at 3 a.m. and tell that, I don't know, you broke up with your boyfriend and you're crying, and your friend is gonna come to you at 3 a.m., listen to all you have to say, and drink tea or some wine with you and help you. But of course, if he's calling, you're also gonna do that for him. So if you're friends with Russian, be ready to be in a very, very close relationships, and always to have many sincere talks. So I don't know actually what it's like in other countries. Can you write that now in the comments? Is it the same? Like, can you call your friend at 3 a.m. and just say, hey, you should come to my house. I want to talk to you. Someone says, I have 100% Russian character. Americans would never come over at 3 a.m. I had a hard time making friends in the US. I mean, I had many friends, but not that kind of relationships that I would have in Russia. But I had close friends, though they were Americans, when I studied in the US. Okay, and we proceed. Foreigners also say that Russians are extremely superstitious, and I would say that this is true, especially for our older generations. So, for example, if you're whistling in a house, your Russian friend is gonna be mad because he's gonna say that you cannot do that. Actually, let's look at some of the superstitions. This list isn't exhaustive. There are so many superstitions that you're gonna think that Russians are crazy, and you're not gonna understand how are they living with so many restrictions, because actually they have so many of these superstitions and restrictions. So the first one is don't whistle inside of a house. Because Russians believe that if you whistle inside of a house, that leads to lack of money. I don't know how that's too connected, but don't do that when you visit your Russian friends. And overall, inside of a building, it's like unofficially prohibited to whistle. The next thing that you shouldn't do in Russia is don't sit on a corner of a table, because if you do that, Russians are gonna tell you that you're never gonna get married, or that you're not gonna get married for the next 7 years. There are different definitions of the consequences of this superstition, but I don't know, if you're not married, don't do that. Also, Russians say that if you drink tea with a spoon in a cup and you didn't take the spoon out, then you're gonna be unlucky your whole life. Also, don't put on clothes inside out, also because you're gonna be unlucky. And usually Russians, if they see that someone is wearing their clothes inside out, they're gonna say, change faster, otherwise you're gonna die or something. And when he changes, he can make a wish, which is gonna come true. Also, don't turn back if you're going somewhere outside of your house. Like if you forgot something and you want to return, Russians say that you shouldn't do that, because otherwise all your plans for the day are gonna be ruined. But if you forgot something really important, you can come back home, and then you have to make funny faces like this in the mirror so that you can cancel this bad luck. This might sound like super weird to you, right? What do you think about these superstitions? Have you ever heard about them? And do you have similar superstitions in your country? I see. I always whistle inside, someone says. Don't walk under the ladder. Yes, that's also a superstition. Under the ladder, and if you have this triangle of columns, like the electricity columns, you shouldn't also go under them. I don't believe in superstitions, someone says. Well, actually, I don't believe them too. Um, I just don't see the connection of me whistling and not having money. But our parents are very superstitious. I would say that 90% of our parents, parents of my generation, they believe all of this and they follow all of this and they teach us to believe them. But my generation probably will believe in just several of these. As for me, I don't actually believe in them, but as I was told to follow so many superstitions from my childhood, I do follow them. I do follow some of them, I want to say, just because that's a habit, probably, and that's how I was taught. And sometimes even I understand that nothing bad is gonna happen, but, anyways, I try not to do some things like going under the triangle uh, of the columns, like the electricity. We were told that if you go under it, you're gonna die, or you're gonna be divorced. And if there is no way for you to find another path around these columns and you have to go under them, then you have to run and hold your breath. And guys, I do that. Okay. Another thing is that you don't have to sew your clothes like with a needle when you are wearing them. For example, you saw a hole in your sock and you just were lazy to take off your sock or something, or tights, and you decided to sew it. The superstition says that you cannot do that, otherwise you will be unlucky. Also, you can't give sharp gifts to Russians, um, because it's believed that this knife, for example, or something sharp is gonna cut your friendship. And that's actually a good one to remember, so that you don't give this kind of gift to a Russian. But there's actually also a way to prevent something bad to happen. So if you give something sharp as a gift, the person who you give it to is gonna give you money. So it's gonna be like, it's not a gift, I bought it from you. He's gonna give you just several dollars or something. Also, you have to be careful with salt, because we believe that if you spilled salt, then in the house everyone is gonna start quarreling, there will be some fight. So people are always careful not to spill the salt. And if you do that when you're a guest, I guess that's not a really good thing. They're gonna think that you're gonna have a quarrel or fight. And finally, I have one superstition which doesn't lead to death, divorce, or bad luck. So, if you stand or sit, like you find yourself between two people and they have the same name, for example, you are sitting somewhere and on this side of you is Ellie, and on another side of you is other girl named Ellie, then you can make a wish which will definitely come true. That's what we believe. And also you're gonna be very lucky. Oh no, what's happening here? Sorry guys, I just wanted to read your comments. So what do you guys think about these superstitions? That's nonsense. Yes. uh, these superstitions are nonsense, but our parents teach us these superstitions from our childhood, and our parents follow them. Actually, my mom follows, I would say, almost all of them. There are also superstitions that, for example, you cannot put your gloves, empty bottles, or keys on a table. And she would always tell me, why did you put your gloves on a table? And I was like, what is table for? But our parents are very superstitious, actually. She also told me that you cannot do any money counting or giving money to someone in the evening because you will not have money in that way. Uh, Salt, beware of salt. So someone also has these superstitions concerning salt. Wow. I'm gonna read your comments later. And I see that in different countries there are also some superstitions, right? In India, you shouldn't cut nails at nighttime. Same in Russia, guys. Wow, I'm surprised that we have the same superstition with India. Yes, and my mom would always um, like scold me if I cut my nails at night. She would be like, "No, what are you doing? You cannot do that under no circumstances. Bad girl cutting her nails at night." Wow, surprised that there is this superstition in India as well. Okay, the next um, thing that I found on the internet is that foreigners actually think that Russians call each other tavarish, which means comrade. And I have a Russian speaking club, and there are also many people, and they're from different countries. Sometimes they text something in the morning, like good morning, and then they say tavarish. And I was so surprised that foreigners know this word, because actually now in Russia almost no one uses it. It was actually coined by the Bolsheviks to replace the pre-revolutionary ways of addressing people, like господин, which meant Mr., and госпожа, which meant Mrs. And nowadays you can hear some Russians say товарищ to a man or to a woman, but that's more in some ironic way. Russians don't actually use this word. It was used in the USSR. And I don't know why foreigners use this word, because it's so outdated, and no one in Russia calls each other tavarish nowadays. I don't know why everyone thinks that we do. Also, everyone thinks that Russians say "na здоровье" when toasting. Well, if you know what "na здоровье" actually means, from Russian, it translates as "you're welcome." So, for example, someone gave me a chocolate, and I say thank you, and here's gonna say "на здоровье," which is "you're welcome." And we don't say it when toasting. When people are toasting, they might say "за здоровье," which means let's drink for our health. But "на здоровье," it means you're welcome. You can actually use several phrases for saying you're welcome, like "пожалуйста" or "на здоровье." The meaning will be pretty much the same. Did you also think that we say "на здоровье" all the time for toasting? In America? Oh, you're still talking about the superstitions. That's super funny. Okay. Also, many people from abroad believe that Russians can understand all the other Slavic languages, which is completely not true. There are, I believe, 12 Slavic languages, and each of them is different in their grammar, vocabulary. I actually talked about this in more details in my video. I will leave the link below when I finish the stream. And every language is different. There are actually 3 groups of Slavic languages, and Russian, Ukrainian, and Belarusian are in one um, group of languages, but even though they're in one group, they're also different. So if you think that Russians can understand Belarusian and Russians can speak Ukrainian, that's not true. So people from Ukraine, for example, or Belarus, they all speak Russian, but also speak their own languages. So they would be able to speak Russian, but Russians don't understand Ukrainian. The vocabulary is quite similar. I think that there is 60% of words that might be the same, which is quite a lot, but at the same time, you will not understand the rest 40%. I actually was like listening to many Ukrainian speakers. When I lived in Italy, I met so many Ukrainians, but I couldn't understand their language. So all these languages are different. And also one more stereotype, many people don't differentiate Ukrainians and Russians. I saw some Google requests and some foreigners ask me, is Russia and Ukraine are the same countries? And this question seems so funny to me because those are two different countries. But some people, when I say that, no, actually, when Ukrainians, for example, they say that they are from Kiev or Odessa, from Ukraine, some people think that they're from Russia and that that's the same place, which is a bit ridiculous. We have different languages and different cultures. Of course, they're similar, they're all Slavic, but still they're quite different. By the way, let me know how many of the Slavic languages you can speak, and probably you're learning some of them now. And let me know why you've chose that particular language to learn. Another stereotype is that Russia is full of these girls named Natashas who are ready to marry a foreigner and to move abroad for his green card. I don't know. So this stereotype comes especially from Turkey, I think, where they name all the Russian girls Natashas because that's a pretty popular name in Russia, and they believe that these girls only looking for foreigners so that they can get their visa, they can get to move abroad with them, and to live in a warmer country and to get a better level of life by moving abroad. But that's of course a stereotype, and that's fetishizing Slavic women by this stereotype, because some people believe that all the Russian women are like this, only looking for money, for some green card, which is of course not true. And I think that's not about the Russian women, but it's about a type of girls, and they can be from any country. This type of women who are looking for a man to move abroad and to improve their life and to become rich or whatever. But of course, you cannot generalize all the girls like this Natashas, and that they're only looking for money in a man and moving abroad. So, I'm gonna read your comments and probably answer some of them. What Russian girls think of Pakistani guys? Well, I actually think that it's only about the personality. So girls are not looking for a particular man from a particular country. They're looking for an individual who they're going to be compatible with, and if they fall in love, then they might consider moving abroad or he's gonna move to Russia. So these were some myths that I found on the internet about Russia, and you've heard that most of them were half true, because the myth and stereotypes, they always come from something. They don't appear from nothing, right? And at the same time, I explained to you how these myths aren't completely true, like that Russians never smile or that they are unwelcoming and hostile. That's a stereotype which is not completely true, and you can understand Russians if you know more about their culture, which I tried to explain. And actually, on August 13th, we're gonna start our Russian speaking club along with the teacher Alena, and we're gonna have a lot of fun there. So in that club, we will take different topics which are also gonna cover the Russian culture. You will get to know it better. And of course, you're gonna learn Russian. So we're gonna have guides with different materials almost every day that we're gonna send to you. There will be a chat on Telegram, which you can see on this slide. This one is from our latest group. So in this chat, there will be a community of people who are passionate about learning the Russian language, and we will also send you homework, because the most important part is to practice, to do something in order to learn. And every weekend, we're gonna have speaking sessions via Zoom, so that you can put all the knowledge that you learned during the week into practice on our weekend speaking session. And of course, there will be personal support from our teacher. And this is a secret code only for those who are watching this live stream. The link to the Russian speaking club is in the description of this stream. So you can go to that link, and if you choose any of our groups, and we have 3 groups from 0, if you've never learned Russian, then for elementary, if you already know the alphabet and some basic words, and for pre-intermediate, if you speak a bit of Russian and you would like to improve more, to practice more. So if you enroll in any of these groups, you can just write this code LE10 and you will get 10% off. And yeah, this is what our students say, and we have students from all over the world. These are just several examples, like Canada, US, New Zealand, Brazil, Indonesia, and we have so many countries. And sometimes I even surprised why would people from some faraway islands will learn Russian, but we have so many students. And our club is actually in the form of a game. So every week you will be passing several levels, and in order to complete the course and to get our gifts, you will have to pass these levels. You can see, like, we make these levels for everyone, and we have matryoshkas, which are lifesavers. So it's all made in the form of a game, so that you are more motivated to complete it. And actually now the teacher from the Russian speaking club is gonna continue our live stream. Let me join with Alena, and I'm gonna see you later, guys.
Hi, everybody. My name is Aliona, and today I Так, и сейчас? Да. Окей. So, guys, hi everybody. My name is Aliona, and I'm actually the teacher of Russian speaking club. So, you probably will see me if you will join us. But today I arrived here for just talk a little bit about dating Russian women. I hope everybody was waiting for this topic. And today I will give you some secrets that can maybe help you in the future with a Russian girl. But please be nice in this way, because for some people it can be a strange topic, like we have propaganda or something else that take Russian girls or something. No, we wanna just share with you some ideas. Maybe someone will like it. Maybe someone will need it. So let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, and everything is okay. So, and also I want for you share with me what stereotype about dating Russian women you already know. Maybe you have some friends that know a Russian girlfriend, or maybe someone else who date Russian girlfriend. So we will start, and I will give you some tips about your Russian date, and also I will give you some language tips so you can able to speak a little bit. Okay, so следующий. I think the first thing that I wanna tell you that the first key for Russian heart, it's probably flowers. It's the flowers. So, if you maybe go one day to Russia, or maybe you've been already in Russia, you will recognize that in Russia, drugstore can work until 9, but store with flowers will work 24 hours. So for us, it's more important flowers than drugstore. So probably you can see that for us is really important. So the first key for Russian heart, as I can tell you, is the flowers. So if one day you date the Russian girl, just bring for her flowers, and she will be really happy. But if you don't, I told you. Okay, so but flowers is look like a little bit like simple. So that's why I give for you second tip. Следующий. The second tip, as Elena said, we a little bit superstition. So it's really important to know that don't give an even number of flower. So if you have two flower, if you have four flower, if you have six flowers, you can bring them to cemetery, okay? Because floss is really important. So be sure that you take the right number of flower, okay? Two bouquet, yes. Two flowers, no. And actually, from the left picture, you can see that flowers, do not bring them because it's cemetery flowers, okay? And also I can recognize and give you one more tip. It's more personal tip and save the ecology of our planet. Do not give in a plastic cover, because it's a little bit ugly, and also it can help save our country. Okay, country and planet without wasting the plastic. Okay, let me know what did you say. Так, last night data cemetery with a flower. No, I hope not. Yeah, it's cemetery. If you will take 2 or 4, 6 flowers, it's definitely not this case. Okay. Pharmacy, yeah. Аптека is mean pharmacy. Drugstore, I mean pharmacy, yeah. Not drug dealers, guys. We today in the daytime about drug dealers we can't speak so much. Okay, so let me tell you some other tip. Следующее. So, remember about the flowers, okay? And of course, if you really want to surprise your Russian girlfriend, for the second date or maybe third date, fifth date, bring for her a lot of roses. It's really popular in Russia that guy give like 51 roses or even more. It's really popular. Okay, guys. So, the second and the most dangerous topic that you can even hear about the Russian girl, that you have to spend money. So be ready to cover the cost. It's a little bit hard topic. Let me a little bit explain what is the idea about this. Okay, for example, a lot of people will think that Russian girl, like, she's really care about money. She's looking for your money, take everything from you. Can be. Maybe have such a girl, but it's not only Russian. So just be ready that in Russia is normally if the man cover the cost of date. So if it's the first date, it's more common that man will pay all expenses, like the date, maybe the cinema, maybe the restaurant. Of course, we have some girl that can offer for you the half of the price. It can happen also because all this feminist wave is coming to our country also, but it's not so popular. And I will give you like a small example. For example, if we take Spain, that in Spain is really popular to make fiesta, to go in the end of the week to bar, petiscar, yeah, to make like from one bar to another bar. So definitely it's this culture of some country. It's go to the restaurant in the end of the week, for example, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. So of course, this type of culture as a European, you go into the restaurant a lot of time. And of course, it will be really expensive for the man pay for you all this time you go to the restaurant. Yeah. But in Russia, is not so popular to this kind of restaurant culture. And we go to the bar, but not such as other other culture. For example, when we go to the restaurant, it means that something really important happened. It can be a birthday, it can be some special anniversary, or maybe some special event as a Finnish school, Finnish university. So we do not go so many times at the restaurant. It can happen, I don't know, 2 times per month. And of course, in this kind of culture, it's more easy to take expenses for the man. And for a lot of girl, like, it's kind of symbols that man can take care about her, and he is a strong man shoulder. So for girl, it's more not showing that you have a lot of money, but to show that you have responsibility, you have a power, and you can take care about everything that will happen with her. Okay, so let me know if everything's okay, you can hear me. So, and I will check some comments here. Tatar girl, yeah, I know one. They are beautiful. Okay, Russian beauty. If you don't want to go to a bar, do not go to the bar. Go to the other place. Go to the park, to forest. No, forest, no. So everything depends from you. You can decide where do you want to go. Okay, so следующее. Next thing that is important, it's that men choose the location. And be please sure that you every time have to make the first step. In Russian culture, it's really important that men always make the first step. Even the girl will really like you. She will sit at home, looking at herself and think why he doesn't text her. It's really happened, but she will never make yours the first message. Why? Because just culturally, we can't make the first step, because if we do it, like for example for our Russian man, it will be a little bit strange that, you know, she's a little bit crazy woman that wanna take you, and this man wanna escape because it's too much pressure. Okay, so it's happened this type of thing. So if you choose to date the Russian girl and you decide that you wanna make the first date, what you should do? The most important thing is that men choose the location. Okay, so if you choose to make the date, so you have to lead it, you're like a guide in your date, so you decide where you go. Of course you can talk, for example, would you like to go to the restaurant or to the cinema, but if you decide to go to some place, the girl will see that you're a leader, that you are brave, that you're self-confident, and she will be more happy to follow you. It's kind of thing. Okay, and invite for the date, it's the first thing that you have to do. The girl will never invite you to the date, even it will be a second date or third date. She could make some some message for you that is like, oh, I am here at home, don't have anything for to do. She will give for you some tip, but never will make the step that like, oh, let's go to the cinema with me. Maybe later, yeah, after several dates, but for the first date is important. Так, следующий. So you decide the location. You decide that you date the girl. You take the flower. Everything is great. Everything is follow, and you're ready for the next step. Okay, so if you will continue date your Russian girlfriend, one more tip, like is really not so necessary, but is important. Yeah, like do not make appointments in the same place like 10 times in a row. It not means that you should be like, you know, the guide goes there and there, tomorrow circus, today cinema, after tomorrow is a park. Of course you shouldn't be a maniac to, you know, to inspire you, surprise her, but it will show that you have a little bit imagination and you are care what she feel, and maybe you will find for you and her some special activities that can show her character, your character. Okay, so try to be a little bit surprised and spontaneous. Хорошо? Okay, guys. So let's check what you have here message, and actually you can text some question, yeah, if you have some question, like special question about the date, and I will try to answer for this question, of course, for not everyone, but I will try take the most interesting and answer for this. Okay, let me check what we have here. All the things you are saying are my natural things, but when I was in USA, when I was student, American girls would get offended by things a Russian girl expect. Yeah, of course, we have a different culture, and different thing for us is can be different reaction, like different thing. Okay. Так, have an idea where to go and don't give your choice at first. Oh, it happens here in USA as well. It happens to me. Learn the hard way. Every girl here is different. Yeah, every girl is different. Of course, you can't make like a special guide, and this guide will work for everyone. But have some special rule, like, you know, the rule that better to follow than no. Better not bring to flower, and after this bring to McDonald's or some KFC. Окей, следующее. And you would ask me, Like, what will interest a Russian woman more? Like, what is their ideas? Maybe what thing will bring some special thing about you? In Russia is really important have a strong shoulder, that you can believe him, you can follow him, and of course he should be self-confident, serious, and brave. And of course not a crazy brave, but this type of characteristic, I think, will attract the Russian girl, and of course to be kind of gentle, to show that you are a gentleman. For she feel like a small girl, not like a small girl, but like a weak woman that walk in her dress with the high heels, and she has a one strong man that can help her, or he can secure her in a bad moments. So the most important is, of course, to be care about her and to be a gentleman. Of course, this is one of the biggest key ever, because some people believe that in Russia a woman is not follow the feminist, they don't like feminist ideas. Why? We have a lot of reason for this, but one of the most reasons that girl or Russian woman do a lot of things. She care about the children, she cares about the food, she care about the house, she works. So sometimes she just wanna, to be a little bit wake in the way of girl wake, and for someone care about her. And this is one of the main point why it's not so popular to be aggressive feminist, because women here have a lot of power to do everything, and sometimes this power is too much and we just wanna feel a little bit different. Okay, следующий. And the next thing that is like previous, a little bit same, but is important also. Приведи пример храбрости. They ask an example of to be a brave. Guys, this is a really interesting question, but to be a brave for different people is different thing. Yeah, you can do it's a depend from situation, depend on what are you doing and where you will be. But if you will pass in a park and there will be mouse and you will scream and jump off on the bench, it will be definitely not brave. I'm sorry. Okay, and the next important thing, it's like as a point 3, point A, I don't know. It's carry and care. Yeah. So if you are with a Russian girl, please carry her bags. For example, if you go from supermarket, if you walk in the park, even if you will be in Russia, you will recognize that some Russian men walk with a women backpack. The women bag, and a man is walking with a women bag. It look like something from LGBT, but no, it's just a carry her bag. And you have to do it, carry her bag, even it's really small Chanel bag. It's just popular. And the second thing, it's care. Of course, care. If you go out from the restaurant, hold the door. If you go from the taxi, open the door. So gentleman thing is really important. And as much you are gentleman, as the best thing for you. Much more coins in your karma, and much more coins as a lover for you. Okay, don't hold her purse. No, you have to do it, my friend. Is Russian woman like a black color skins? Guys, we have really interesting stereotype about this, but it's 18 plus, and it's everything is about really interesting information. Maybe one day we will talk about this, but not today. We have children. Так, please remove this. Так, okay, guys. We have something else. Make sure you tell her to dress nice for you, skirt and heels. Okay, make sure she dress nice, and after this you bring her to the park where her heels will go to the ground. So please be aware about this and about the how you look like, your appearance. One of the most important thing is just to be clean. Okay, just take a shower, clean your boots. It's one of the most important thing. So, and carry and care, it's one of the key of Russian heart. Okay, следующее. The next thing that what Russian girl really expect. Russian girl expect carry and care and some good sense of humor. Good sense of humor, I think, like a second, the most important thing. Of course, international cup, it's a bit harder, but if you have good sense of humor, it will be definitely good. What about finding girl while studying abroad in Russia? Yeah, it's a great idea. Why not? Okay. The next thing, like one of the list, and after this I have for you one small key that you can you can take some pen and paper, and the next thing you have to write down. Okay, so how to success in relationship with Russian women. The thing that I already spoke for you is important, and I think one of the most important thing, maybe not the most, but it will be fun, it will be brave. Who asked me what does mean brave? I will tell you right now. So if you know a little bit Russian, even you know привет, even you know как дела, or доброй ночи, спокойной ночи, but please without красавица и красивый, да? Remember, девушка красивая, because have a lot of foreigners that call девушка красивый. If you will compare with Spanish, it's like ella lindo, да? Linda, да? Okay, so if you know a little bit Russian, and of course, if you know some compliment in Russia, it will help. Believe me, the thing that you put some efforts, that you try to study, you try to learn something, it will show that you are really serious, and also you are brave enough to learn such a difficult language. So if you are able to speak something, it can be not some, a script from Tolstoy or some song for Anna Karenina, but if you know something, it will be already good. So let me check some. Oh, have a lot of flowers. Thank you. Так, okay. Do you like talk with me? I know. Be a gentleman. Так. Educated, financially stable, with sense of humor, brave, good and bad. Not so bad, yes. Do you like to walk with Так? It's things that we already know. Okay. So guys, no money, no love. No money, no honey, baby. You can not have money, but other thing should be important, that you know something. For example, if you know Russian, it will help. Maybe. I'm not promise anything here. Continue here. Also, you can ask me more thing because we're starting the most important practice thing that I will start right now. So you can ask me something if you know, if you guess about some date tips, or maybe some stereotype about Russian girl. But next, следующий. Next thing that I want to share with you as a Russian teacher or as a Russian girl, I will teach you some date tip vocabulary. So the most important thing, of course, it is that you know привет, как дела. This is a basic, of course. And one more thing that you could ask is the first thing, if you do wanna get into trouble, and if you not if you didn't have some degree in a box, better to ask this question. Ты с кем-нибудь встречаешься? Встречаешься in Russian is mean meet. Like, do you meet someone or do you have a boyfriend or girlfriend? This question is really important. Believe me, if you don't want to have a problem, okay, better to ask this question before than other things that you would ever think in your mind. Окей. Следующее. У тебя есть парень. Do you have a boyfriend? The same, да? If встречаешься for you is too big, better to ask this next question. У тебя есть парень или у тебя есть девушка? Like, do you have a girlfriend? Подожди, обратно. Да, у тебя есть девушка? Перескочил слайд. Секундочку. Сейчас, пока я почитаю у вас I'm old man. Окей. Так, Элина, ты меня слышишь?
Да, я переключила.
Ага. Так, хорошо. Сейчас спросим. If I wasn't for me. Хорошо. Stopping. Так, хорошо. Bit old now. Окей. So, следующее. Ты отлично выглядишь. Выглядишь. It's like you look like of something. Да, ты можешь сказать, ты хорошо выглядишь, but better to ask, ты отлично выглядишь. Отлично выглядишь. You look like great. You look like good. Окей? Следующее. Я хотел бы узнать тебя получше. Да? Я хотел бы, like I would like, узнать, no, тебя is important, да, как тебя зовут, your name, and here I would like to know you better. Я хотел бы узнать тебя получше. Да? This phrase is really good if you only start in your date, I mean not date, but before, when you meet Russian girl, да, it's the best thing to talk for her. Да? After this, she can talk like what is her hobby, what she likes, and after this, you can already choose where to date with her. Так, следующее. Так, what is the typical age gap between men and women in Russia? Like I think the most stereotype gap, it's like the man older than woman, and I think it's like start from 1 year until 10 years. I think the most popular, it's like 3-5 years, maybe 1-2, but can be also younger. Like if you're younger and your woman is a little bit older. For example, my cousin, her husband is younger than she for 2 years. So sometimes the age doesn't matter so much. Okay, следующее. The next thing is when we already know each other, when we already pass the step of meeting, the first meeting, you could tell this phrase. Ты мне нравишься. Да. Ты мне нравишься. Нравишься is like I like you. Ты мне нравишься. Нравишься is not so high meaning. So you could tell us if it's, you a little bit like her. So ты мне нравишься, like I like you. Yeah, in this way. Да, ты мне нравишься. But the next thing is really important, and this is for really important case. Okay, so just keep it and do not tell without the reason this phrase. Я тебя люблю. Я тебя люблю. Okay, so I love you. This is the most important. Better do not talk this on a first date, second date. It will be a little bit crazy, and the Russian girl will think that you want to put her in a bed. And I think probably you will see her not so many times. Следующее, it's if you wanna keep contact with your new girlfriend maybe in the future. It's как я могу связаться с тобой. Of course, it's really long, but как я могу связаться с тобой. Okay? Or you can ask, у тебя есть Инстаграм? Да, у тебя есть, да, у тебя есть. It's important phrase. У тебя есть, like, do you have, remember, у тебя есть парень, do you have a boyfriend, и у тебя есть Instagram, да, do you have Instagram, or у тебя есть Facebook, да, хорошо. И the last one, it's увидимся завтра. Увидимся, it's like see you, да, see you. Увидимся завтра. Увидимся завтра is mean I will see you tomorrow. So it's give hope for the girl that you wanna meet her again. Not like пока, до свидания, like goodbye, forever, when you will meet again, nobody know. So увидимся завтра. It's like small hope for the girl that you will see her tomorrow or you have planned to see her again. Okay, so guys, this was my tip for you meet your Russian soul maybe. And also you can use it during your date. Of course, nobody will expect you to speak Russian fluently, but if you use such a short phrase in some period of your date, it will actually give you more chance and more pluses during the day. Okay, so here have the one joke. Do you speak English? Like, do you speak English? Если бы in Russian, it would be good. Like a little bit a joke, because if you will go to Moscow, St. Petersburg, it will be more common you will find someone speak English. Small city will be harder, but also you can find. So guys, let me check your comments. Maybe you have some interesting. Men should treat women with the greatest respect without fail. Oh, I like it. A man should pay for whatever you're doing, either a meal or anything else. Don't forget, a lady should be well themed and entertained. Yeah, with such ideas, I think you will have a lot of chances. Так, окей, people, так, you should put in like English letters. Okay, so Moscow. I hope everybody takes a pen and paper and put all that tip I give for you. And of course, it was in Cyrillic alphabet because in Russian we use Cyrillic. Do not use English translation. So try to understand a little bit Cyrillic and how to pronounce it. Thank you for the information. Okay, guys, so I hope these tips that I gave you was useful for you, and maybe one day you will go to the Russia and enjoy Russian culture and maybe meet your Russian soul here. We also use Tinder. We do not have only bears on the street. Yeah, Tinder is one of the good way also maybe to use it. And here is Elena. I hope guys that you enjoy our live stream, and you can ask the question for Elena, and see you in Russian speaking club that will start in September 13, and wish you a good evening.
Thank you so much, Alona, for all this information, all your tips, and your vocabulary. You're the best Russian language teacher that I know. And yeah, I'm really excited for our Russian speaking club because in our chat, the atmosphere is always so cool with people from so many countries speaking Russian. That seems like something crazy to me. So, guys, those of you who actually filled out the form through my Instagram or YouTube community, for this live stream, I promised you some gifts. So after this live stream, for those who registered, I'm gonna send an email with a guide made by me and Alena with phrases in Russian, with their pronunciation and translation, phrases to meet people in Russia, to make friends, to get to know new people, because that's probably the most interesting thing to do in a new country, right? To make friends. And phrases for a date as well, because that was today's topic, just because we think that many people would be interested in